Hello, this is Michael Eure, and I'd like to invite you to the Michael Eure Show, featuring student hosts and very special guests talking about a variety of interesting topics. You can find us on the Eagle Stream YouTube channel. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Michael Eure Show. Today we have our very special guests talking about what to do with your money during the pandemic. And so financial strategies and money tips during the pandemic and beyond with LaTonya Parsons, the Wake Tech student money manager. She's an awesome person, and I'm just giving her those kudos because my students love her, and you are too. So tell us a little bit about yourself, LaTonya.
Absolutely. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is LaTonya Parsons. I am a native of New York, but moved to North Carolina 2 years ago. And I am actually working in my dream job, which is in financial education. My background is in financial services, where I spent the last 20 plus years working in various positions. But I am so excited to be able to work with students with their finances.
Okay. And for the audience, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat and we'll get to answer them before the show is over. But LaTonya, I know you have a great presentation, so I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you and let you do what you do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, and thank you for this opportunity, Michael. So I
Thank
did
you.
prepare just a couple of tips because there's, a lot going on in our world these days. There's a lot of challenges that people are facing. People are experiencing a lot of losses in different areas. And if I could come and just bring a little light where there may be darkness, that's what I believe my purpose and my job is, and even in that area of finances. So, a couple of tips that I just want to share is to number one, focus on what you can do when it comes to your finances. I know there's a long list of the things we may not be able to do, but if we would just turn that situation around and focus on the can do's and even making a list. So you may not be able to do X, Y, and Z, but I want you to now switch gears and just write down what you can do during this time. Even if you have to start with, I can breathe, I can open my eyes, and then we'll get to the finances. You may not be able to go on a shopping spree, but are you able to pay your bills? And what bills are you able to pay? And that will kind of get you into a mindset of, if I focus on what I can do now, eventually there's going to come a day when I can do what I can't do at this time. The next tip I would have would be to organize and prioritize. I know it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially in the area of finance and money management, when you're not organized. And then when you take that a step further, when you then start to prioritize after you have everything in order. So make sure you have your expenses. They're listed down somewhere, whether you're utilizing an app, an online tool. A lot of financial services or institutions have their own apps. Well, make sure you're getting organized. You have your income, whatever that may be, and then you're listing out your expenses. And then once you have your expenses listed out, then start to prioritize what's the top expenses that you need to take care of. And that being, housing, transportation, and food. And then you'll go down and try to take care of the other ones. But make sure the top three are taken care of. So organize and prioritizing is extremely important during this time, and then, beyond this time, which the day will come when we'll be beyond the pandemic. And the third thing, and I think it's one of the most important tips that I could just provide today, is to seek help. Again, there's a lot going on. People are experiencing a lot of challenges, especially in the areas of finances. But one thing I'm happy to share is that there's a lot of help out there, but the help is not going to come to you. You have to reach out and get assistance. In some of those areas where you may be able to get relief and help would be look at your financial institutions. So if you have loans, auto loans, if there's mortgages, credit cards, reaching out to institutions, they have a lot of pandemic relief programs that have been set up to help their customers and clients during this time. So make sure you're taking advantage of them. Again, they may not reach out to you and tell you that these are options, but be proactive and reach out to them. Another thing you can do if you're dealing with credit cards is reach out and see if there's a way that they can lower your interest rate, or if they have a special payment plan during this time that you can take advantage of. There's a lot of different programs like that have been instituted that are waiting and available to help and assist. But again, it's going to take proactive action on your part to be able to reach out and seek help when needed. Another thing to look into would be local programs. So if you are a Wake Tech student, we have so many free resources that are available to students. Such areas such as career and employment resources, which I work closely with. It's an area full with amazing people that can help guide you through career exploration, developing and seeking what your skills are and making sure that you're employable. They help with resume writing. They have a whole list of things that they could assist you with. We also have an area that's called student advocacy and support, which they assist with emergency funding, food insecurities. So there are things that may be available to help you. But again, reaching out and knowing that they're available is very important, especially at this time. There's also local programs that may be able to assist you with rent and different things like that. So again, know your resources, do your research, and then seek help when needed. So those are just a few things that I could, leave with you and present with you during this time. Things may be a little cloudy, but the sun will shine. And it's about, getting that mindset. I may not be able to do everything, but I'm going to focus on what I can do today. And tomorrow I may be able to do a little bit more.
All right. Well, that was a lot of very good information. So, can you give us an example? Because you do personal financial counseling for students as well. Can you give us a kind of overview of what that is?
Absolutely. So with students, I do financial coaching. So the difference between financial coaching and financial counseling, which both is available and both are very helpful, is on the coaching end, it's more of a collaborative effort between myself as the coach and the student. It's not me telling the student what to do, but we come up with plans together, strategies. I act as an accountability partner. So there's many students that might be talking about, their credit, how to improve credit, how to establish credit, or maybe setting up a budget. And they come up with where they want to be. And I work, act as a person that's going to help you and walk alongside you on that journey. And that's how I like to see coaching. It's somebody to walk with you as you go through your financial journey, not scolding you or trying to tell you what you should do, but keeping in mind what your goals are, where it is you want to be, and then helping you to achieve that. So, with the education and the empowerment.
And I know you go to classes and do presentations virtually as well as on site. Can you give us a schedule of some of the things you got coming up in October, November?
Absolutely. So this semester, I'm happy to be able to offer a series of workshops that took place in September, and then they'll repeat in October and in November. So it's a schedule, and they're like the basics, the foundation of money management, which would be budgeting, credit, so talking about credit basics, and then savings, which is just All three so important during this time. And I know a lot of time people want to go on to the advanced stages of money management, which is investing or maybe, starting businesses. But if you don't have the foundations covered and a firm grip on them, it could make everything else related to money management a little bit more challenging and difficult to maintain. So I'm happy to be offering this in a series over the next few months.
What are some of the challenges you find when you're doing the foundations of budget? What are some of the pitfalls that people have?
So some of the challenges is budgeting gets a bad rep, and most people think about a budget as something that's restricting them. It sucks all the fun and happiness and joy out of life. Um, or there's people in a category that it seems too overwhelming, like they don't know where to start. So how I like to have people look at budgeting as it's not telling you what to do, it's actually giving you more control and more power in your finances. It's you telling your money exactly what you want your money to do and making sure that your money obeys you. I found when you don't give money strict directions and instructions, it does what it wants to do. And usually, what it wants to do is leave you as soon as possible. So, a budget is making sure you're telling money exactly what it should be doing for you. So, budgeting, I like to simplify it as what do you want your money to do? Starting with your financial goals. And that's another thing that I find that people don't have well laid out or maybe have not thought of what are their financial goals. We know about goals in other aspects of life, but sometimes we leave out the financial part. And that's the foundation of any good budgeting system or method is what do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want your money to do? What are your short term goals, your mid range goals, your long term goals? And those help guide you as you make financial decisions on a daily basis.
Okay, so we have a question in the chat from Dr. Chris O'Riordan Aja from our engineering department. Miss LaTonya, it is always great to see and hear you. What are some of the main financial issues students are bringing to your attention?
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that question. And sadly, students are facing major challenges when it comes to just meeting their basic financial obligations. So as far as rent or food and things like that. And the one thing that I found is that help is available for these students, but them not knowing where to go to receive such help. And sometimes it's only, what we may think, some may think is something small, but when you don't have that resource, it can be very big. So knowing again about student advocacy and support is a good resource that I connect students with that could just give them that extra that they needed to help meet the financial obligation, which is an emergency in their case, or knowing that there's food services available where they can receive, assistance with making sure they have groceries. So those have been the challenges that I see that, being able to meet just your basic obligations has been a struggle, especially during this time. Also, finding adequate employment where students are underemployed, they're not making enough to meet needs. So, then being able to direct students to career and employment resources has been a big help because they're able to help them build the resume, explore their skills, and because that program is connected to employers, they're able to help them to reach out to employers and get the job so that they can meet their needs.
And thank you. And one of the others, because you talked about student advocacy and support, which I'm happy to say that we're part of that student engagement and impact division. But there's also something for students that if you're in your last semester or the last half of your classes, they have what they call the finish line grant. So sometimes you run out of money, you don't think you can afford to finish. So that's important to know.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to stop and thank you for bringing up the career and employment resources. I think that's important. And also in this age of technology, do know that our libraries for students have the ability to loan you out laptops and hotspots. And we
Absolutely.
have another question, so I'm gonna let that come. So Renita Stewart, how you doing? Can you explain credit boost apps?
Absolutely. So, thank you for that question. We're also living in a time where your credit score is very important, and I think people are seeing the importance of it because almost everything is tied to it, from renting a place to buying a house, um, getting cars if you're going to be financed. So, they have now what they call credit boost apps, which don't just use the traditional accounts to, that are usually used on your credit report, such as an auto loan or a credit card. They use some non traditional things and show your positive payment history with these things to help boost your score. So, such things as paying your rent on time or paying your utilities or cell phone bills, those can be linked to these apps. You link your bank account to these apps or websites, and they kind of use your on time payment on those bills to boost your score in return. It can be helpful. Um, and mind you, your score may not increase 100 points, but it can boost it a few points. And those are becoming more and more popular during these times as alternative credit to be able to boost your score.
We have another question, and I'm gonna go back to the app after you answer this one. This is from Chris again. Are students during this time of COVID needing more financial assistance, or are they viewing the situation as an opportunity to work more to meet their financial obligations? Thanks for your first answer. He's also saying.
So I am finding that students might not necessarily need more financial assistance, but I found that they're using the time to explore alternative means of income. So I found that during this challenging time that many dreams, visions, businesses have been birthed where students are using their skill set and passions to create additional sources of income, or they're exploring what people may call side hustles, where they may have extra time and now I can pet sit and supplement my income doing that. So even though this time has presented a challenge, I found that it also has been used to give some people an extra push to supplement their income, that they're able to see that maybe I can explore building a business at this time, pursuing my passion. So it it has been interesting that there has been an increase with the request for coaching, but I've been pleasantly surprised with the students, what we've been able to discover and explore, that there may be other avenues that they may be able to pursue to supplement income.
And so you're touching on the gig economy a little bit too.
Mhm.
So we hear a lot about Lyft, Uber, all of these
Yes.
other kinds of opportunities. How does that impact their taxes, or how do they count that income? Is it just a standard because all the companies provide you some type of overview of how much money you made?
So they may be, if they're considered contractors, they'll be getting a 1099, which if you're employed traditional ways, you get the W-2. And what I would advise you, because I'm not a tax advisor, is to seek out a tax advisor, especially if you're getting making additional income, just to see what implications that's going to have on your taxes, and to make sure that the correct amount of taxes is being withheld. Because when you're in certain contractor jobs, the taxes are not taken out then, so you are personally responsible for that. So seeking a tax professional is going to be really important, just to make sure that you stay on top of things.
And I'm following up about the credit boost apps. Are they typically something that people pay for, or are there free versions of those?
So there's both. There are apps that you can pay for to utilize that boost, but there's literally one that is called Boost, which is uh, um, specifically for Experian, where that is free. So there are a lot of free options out there as well. Another thing that people may want to take advantage of, since we're talking about boosting credit, is they have these alternative like loan sources through like Self or a money lion where you get a small loan and then you pay it back. And as you make the on time payments to these little loans, they're smaller loans, that is reported to the credit bureaus and that can help you boost your score. With self specifically is, and I'm not being endorsed by self or anything like that, these are just some that I know of, you pay yourself and your credit could be boosted. And I say could be because you need to look at your whole credit profile to see how everything's going to work together, but it could potentially boost your credit score by paying yourself back so that it acts as like a savings account and a credit booster. So it's kind of a win-win there.
And earlier you were talking about some tips. And so I'm thinking about not just students, but I do happen to know students that are parents.
Mhm.
What kind of tips would you have for parents that are doing that virtual learning experience? Are there resources available for them?
So financial resources or academic resources?
Both, because if you have the academic, it's saving you money. You're right.
Absolutely. So I found that there are a lot of actually community organizations that are help assisting parents that are, you know, um, they become teachers, virtual teachers now with their students. So they're helping to provide spaces where the student can go and can learn. Because now what we have to think of is the domino effect that this whole virtual learning has created because parents have to alter work schedules. They may have to because I can't leave my first grader at home by themselves to learn virtually, and I'm working my 9 to 5. So asking for alternative work schedules may be like a financial support to see if your job offers that. I've also seen where some employers have created spaces where the parent can actually bring the student to their job and they can work and be able to assist their student with their learning as well. So we are in interesting times, but the one thing that I love to see is how we're adapting and things are changing. It's a time where we're a paradigm. This paradigm shift is needed, that we're not just changing the way that we think, but we need to change the way that we do things. And we may find that that system is better than how we did them previously. So I know a lot of challenges have been presenting themselves, and there has been a lot of loss of life and putting a period there, but there's also been some good things that have come out of this where people are changing actually how they work and they're seeing what is the most important in their life. And I've learned that people are starting to focus on that, what matters the most.
Right. I think we have another question or two from Chris. All right. Thanks again. And as you know, every time I hear you, I take the opportunity to reevaluate myself financially and what I can do to help our students. But don't forget, we need some help too.
Absolutely.
And he's asking, can parents reach out to you on behalf of their children who are students?
So that's so funny that you asked that. And I have been given the opportunity and position, especially if parents have students. I've worked with the parent and the student at the same time. Parents have reached out and have asked me questions on behalf of students. I've worked with students and their significant others. So I find that when you get the family involved, that it makes a bigger impact because now we have everybody on the same page. When usually it's the one off, the one person coming, and now the other person is not on board. Um, I love the family financial kind of coaching situation and environment because now everyone gets the information. Everyone may process it differently, but it opens up a conversation that may not have been had unless they were in that type of environment and in that setting. So absolutely they can.
All right. One thing we didn't ask you was to give your contact information if people want to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So my email address is ljparsons at waketech.edu, and it's right on the screen. You also, if you're a Wake Tech student and would like to schedule a coaching session, which I would be more than happy to meet with you, and that's where we can personalize things because I know sometimes you don't want to ask the question in a public setting. You could go to the website, which is waketech.edu/ SMM for Student Money Management. You can also follow us on Instagram. So we put out little money management tips every single Monday. It's called Money Mondays. So you may have a question, but it may have been answered in a video. So watching those videos can be helpful as well. And that's our handle, Wake Tech SMM.
You have your social media game on
I'm, I'm,
on
I'm
on
trying.
point.
I'm trying to step it up.
So when students and Chris says thanks, perfect. When students set up appointments with you, the virtual appointments, are they typically 30 minutes or 40 minutes? How long are they, and how do they do that?
Absolutely. So when students set up an appointment with me, they can go right to the website. And if they click on the location, so the North or South campus, it will bring them to the bookings page. So all of the services that we're providing this semester are virtual. So it will bring them right to the virtual appointment setter. And most of the sessions are an hour, even though they can be less than that. If there's a quick question that you have to ask, it can definitely be customized to whatever you need. But the basic time frame is just blocked off for an hour, just to make sure there's adequate time for our conversation.
So if faculty would like for you to come and do a virtual presentation in their classes,
Mhm.
could you do that? Or how do they email you? How do they get that done?
So they would actually use the exact same tool that the students use to schedule the coaching sessions. There is there's options for classroom presentations there as well. And if you have any, and this is anyone, student or faculty or staff, if there's any problems with scheduling, they can reach out to me with my through email, and I'd be happy to assist with that process. Yep.
Thank you. I was muted. Thank you. We met a couple of weeks ago with and I cannot remember the exact term, but the Beltline
Yes.
Education Center that deals with our adult high school. And you're going to be doing some things with them. So how do you interact with potential students? And do you do things with our early college high schools? Because I know we have several that feed into Wake Tech.
Right. So with potential students, so the services and program right now is focused on Wake Tech students, but I, as an individual and who I am open to talk to anybody, because giving the tips is not just what I do, it's who I am. I believe it's part of my purpose is to help people in the area of finances. And I have done things with some of our early college students and look to do more of that in the future as well. So I'm looking to work with students in of various aspects. And if anyone is interested in seeing how we can collaborate, because I'm all about collaboration opportunities, just reach out and we can brainstorm and see how we best can meet the students' needs.
And I'm thinking that's also for financial service providers in the community. If they want to do some joint projects, do you do some things with them? And
Yep,
then I want to make sure we don't let you forget to make your big announcement either.
absolutely,
Go ahead.
absolutely. So as far as with the Wake Tech, there, I'm the program is committed to meeting the needs of the students, but I'm looking for expansion. Who knows what the future will hold? And going out into the community is something that I, as an individual, am passionate about doing. So if anybody has those type of opportunities, just reach out to me and we can see how we can make that happen as well. And the announcement, oh my goodness, I cannot forget. So, starting in October, so from October 1st to December 1st, and this is strictly for Wake Tech students, I'm happy to present a student money management. I'm too happy I can't pronounce my words correctly. A student money management challenge. And what this challenge entails is just financial education. So, meeting with me either through a financial coaching session, so booking one and actually meeting with me, or attending one of the fall workshops, and there's actually six that's during that time frame. Um, Following me on Instagram. So making sure if you have an Instagram page that you follow Student Money Management on Instagram, and then watching the Money Monday videos and completing three of the challenges. So there's challenges to budget, challenges to look at your credit, challenges to cut costs. There's different challenges out there. And if you do 3 of those challenges, so once you complete 1, 2, and 3, you would email me to let me know you've completed them and just, let me know what challenges you did. And you'll be entered to win one of 4 $500 gift cards that I will be giving out at the beginning of December. So I know that, there are a lot of financial challenges, and I feel that this is not just going to empower you to better manage your money, but then why not give some money out to help make times a little better for you? You're
Thank you,
good.
LaTonya. Carlos wanted to know, thank you. Is it ever too early to start discussing with college students about preparing for retirement? If not, what should we share with them? And that's from Dr. Carlos McCormick.
All right. Dr. McCormick. No, it is never too early to start thinking and planning for retirement. So, the first thing to start the discussion, I would start with what are some options that are out there, or vehicles to help you with retirement. So, whether start talking about IRAs or what their employer, if they're employed, if their employer has a program that could assist with retirement. Thinking about what your retirement needs will be. I mean, there's a whole line of things. Then we get into insurances that, again, the earlier you start those discussions and conversations, the better prepared you're going to be when the time comes. I know when you're 18, 19, 17, you think retirement is so far away, but what I have found is it gets closer and comes faster than you really can imagine. So setting those things up now is only going to put you in a better place in the future. And not just college students is it important to talk about retirement, but when we talk about finances in general, it's important to start talking to our children about money. I mean, when they're able to talk and they know the concept of money they can spend, they want $1 to go to the store, that's the time for us to start the saving conversation, how money works conversation, all of those things, so that our kids are prepared to manage money when they get older. So money conversations, I believe, have to be started as soon as we have regular conversations with our students about, or our kids about, other things. It has to be a constant, ongoing conversation. But thank you for that question.
And thank the audience for your participation. And thank you, LaTonya. Please give out your contact information one more time.
That's
And hopefully you'll get some good follow up. And this will be available on YouTube for anybody that didn't get a chance to see it. You can share that information with folks. Thanks.
all right. Thank you. So again, you can email me at ljparsons@waketech.edu, or you can go to our website. It's waketech.edu/SMM. And I'm excited and looking forward to connect with many of you.
All right. And we'll see you on the 1st and 3rd